You guys, welcome to the live. If you are new here, it's Amira, where I talk news, celebrity gossip, hot topics, you name it, I will talk about it. And today's topic, well, before we get to today's topic, let me just go ahead and express that all opinions displayed here on this channel are allegedly in just my opinion. Why? Because I do not know these people. That is right. I do not know these people, but I am going to dig into this Black China case. As you know, the verdict is in, the bombshell verdict is in, and our person, our small hero, Angela Renee White, stage name Black China, has lost against the giant that is the Kardashians, or I guess are the Kardashians because it's more than one. Where is it more than one? Who's still left? I think Courtney is still a Kardashian. No, she married Travis Scott. She might be not Travis Scott, Travis Barker. She might be precipitating on a Barbara, but the official word is in, and I must say that I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed about how we arrived where we are. It is traumatizing. It is upsetting. It is something that I absolutely never expected. I mean, I did expect it, but nothing that I would have ever hoped for. And I just want to talk about some of the major missteps that happened in the case that really changed the trajectory of Black China's damages, her claims, like what went wrong. And honestly, you guys, I watch court TV. Sometimes I get fascinated by different trials that you may come across. And one of the things, if I don't know anything else, is you have to give the jury a story to follow. You have to frame the narrative in order for the jury to buy into the story. And like when you're in trial and you're presenting your case, you're giving the story. It's like creating a like an outline, right? So you know how when you're in elementary school and you're about to write an essay, they tell you to create an outline for your essay. You have like your header, the titles of your paragraphs, your A, B, C, D bullet points, and then your sub points. That is what Linciani and her team needed to do. They needed to create an outline, a journey, a path for the jury to follow. And it needed to start with a thesis statement. If you guys watch my video before this, I go into detail about what I would have said. Now, it's not polished because I am not a lawyer. However, there are some critical points that I would have touched on if I was Blac Chyna's attorney, and I lay them all out in my video before this, which is called A Wolf Among Us. So my thesis statement, if I were Blac Chyna's attorney, would have been that there is a wolf among us, and that the whole purpose of this case is to identify the wolf, who is the leader of the pack, and all the little baby wolves that are following the lead wolf to lead a charge against prey. Blac Chyna is the sheep and they are the wolves. And that is where I would have framed my argument about how everything was done premeditated, how she was set up, and how she was systematically and methodically destroyed throughout the process. That she needed to create a thesis and then give the jury a path to follow. And I don't think Linciani ever nailed it. And I think one of the major missteps is when you think you have an amazing case, when you think you have smoking gun proof, when you think you have an ace in a hole, you might not prepare as much as you probably should have. And I think that is where the misstep lied. Linciani needed to make Blac Chyna almost methodical in her testimony. She should have been deposed, cross-examined, with various different lawyers coming in, going over her testimony, asking her questions that will catch her off guard, changing the temperature in the room, changing tempo, changing tone, really pushing Blac Chyna into a corner so that she knows how to fight her way out. The case is won in opening testimony. The case is won when you lay out a foundation for the jury. And Linciani she needed, please like the live, you guys. Thanks you for joining. She needed to take control of the narrative early on in the process, and she failed to do so. How do you take control of a narrative? You exploit what you anticipate the defense to do. You anticipate the move, you plan a counter move. Linciani knew that all they had was hearsay. She knew that they were building their entire case on slander, defamation, hearsay, and nonsense. And she needed to call it out immediately upon opening argument. She needed to say, they're going to come in here and they're going to tell you that my client is vicious and dangerous and aggressive, but they will not provide any evidence of that aggression. They will come in here and tell you that my client refused to go to therapy, but they won't provide any testimony from a therapist who reached out to provide counsel. They will come in here and tell you that my client never had a season 2, but they will neglect to mention that multiple news sources, including E, reported that there would be a season 2 of Rob and Chyna. They will neglect to mention the back and forth contract negotiations on dollar line figures for Rob and Chyna. They will neglect to mention the emails that Chloe and Kim and Kylie sent to stage a coup against Chyna. They will neglect to mention the facts of this case, and they will base their entire defense on hearsay and lies and further slander and further defamation. She needed to frame the narrative. She needed to give the jury the image of power and influence that this family has over perception. She needed to talk about how much juice they actually have. She needed to prove to the jury that how dare they come in here and say that they don't have power over the E network, but neglect to tell you that they greenlit and helped facilitate 11 consecutive spinoffs. How does it happen? How does it make sense? How do you say that you have no power when your power is on full display? It is the definition of gaslighting. And I would have compelled the jury to exercise common sense in the situation and not let manipulation, power, and the perception of greed confuse them. Confuse them from the facts that are in front of them. I strongly believe that they did Black Chyna a favor. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I think they may have done Black Chyna a favor in this case, because had they awarded her any damages, she would not have had the strength on appeal. The main culprit in this case is Kim Kardashian. She is the wolf. She is the leader of the pack. She is the wolf, the queen wolf, in my opinion. If you guys pay attention, when Blac Chyna first filed this suit, she initially dropped her claims against all the other sisters except for Kim Kardashian. She knew who her wolf was. And by the judge dismissing the charges against Kim Kardashian, they broke Chyna's legs, figuratively speaking. But maybe, just maybe, guys, they did her a fucking favor. Because on a pill, she can go after the person who's really responsible for all of the things that happened to her. She can point out the miscarriage of justice, the faulty instructions, how confused the jury was. They did her a favor. 3 days of deliberations, multiple back and forth on questions, confusion, miscommunication. They jumbled. Yes, she is the wolf, Zane. They jumbled the jury instructions. They confused the testimonies. They confused the facts in order to confuse when a jury cannot make a rational decision, they have to err on the side of caution. And caution is no award, no damages. But they gave her a silver lining. They have an amazing mistrial case on their hands if Linciani chooses to pursue it, if she chooses to do her job. But this time, when you step into the courtroom, you know what your opponent has against you. You know about the hearsay. You know about the lies. You know that Rob Kardashian is going to come on stand and give testimony about some violent outrage and abuse that happened. But you know that you have actual footage at your disposal to prove that this man is lying. He is lying. How do you get on the stand and say that she beat you to death or almost tried to, quote, kill you, but yet you're with her on New Year's, January 1st, 2017, on Snapchat, having sushi? You don't look scared. You don't look in danger. You don't look bruised. You don't look beaten. You look happy. You look happy. How do you justify your fear when you got a horn in your mouth going, "Brr, brr, brr, brr"? How do you justify your fear? I don't understand how the jury was led to believe such nonsense. How were they led to believe such nonsense? It blows me to smithereens, you guys. To smithereens. The facts are the facts. And Linciani allowed for Michael Rhodes to skate around the facts. She allowed to herself and the jury to be gaslit. That is a miscarriage of justice. That is a disgrace to humanity. We spend our entire lives avoiding gaslighters and narcissists. This is like buzzwords these days. If I was Linciani, I would be telling her, jury, I need you to stay in the presence of mind of facts. I need you to ignore the fame, ignore the smoke and mirrors. I need you guys to stay focused on the facts and do not allow yourselves to be gaslit into bullshit. How do you make a verdict on hearsay? In a criminal law, that case would have been thrown out. Objection, hearsay. Objection, hearsay. Objection, hearsay. There was more hearsay in this case than I've ever seen. They had a better case. I don't know how they pulled it off. I do not know how they pulled it off, but I think it's because Linciani did not prep. I don't think she prepped the way that they did. They came in with an A-list team with tons of people on the case. They was ready, they were prepared, and they were prepared to lie their way to the top. They had the judge on their side, and Linciani needed to anticipate just how low and how evil the legal system can be. It's her job to know better. It's her job to do better. It's her job. It's no way that's the first time she saw Michael Rhodes in court. It's no way she didn't do her research on her opponent. When you are a lawyer, it is your job to understand the enemy, to understand your opponent, their moves, their counter moves, their thought process. What do they rely on in their case? Their cadence, their tone. How do they compel juries? Their wins, their losses. You study them. You study the cases that they won and you study the cases that they lost and you learn them in and out. Learn their weaknesses. I don't know if Lynn was there mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I don't know. But it was not enough. It's no way she didn't frame the conversation. You are the prosecution. You know how it is. You're the one pursuing action. When you are pursuing action, you are the first baton. Pretend it's a 4x4, Lynn. You're passing the baton, one runner to the next, one runner to the next, and your only runner is Chyna. You brought Chyna on the stand. Where were Chyna's character witnesses? Where were Chyna's people to say that is a lie? I saw Rob text my phone asking me to talk to Chyna to help him out in this relationship. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Chyna called me after this happened, and I saw Chyna. She didn't look bruised. Rob didn't look bruised. I saw him on FaceTime. Where were Chyna's witnesses? Where were her character witnesses? Where was it? Where were her character witnesses? I'm so confused. You are fighting a fight against a family of 5 with a man named Corey Gamble who got on stand and gave egregious testimony about hearsay. Where are Chyna's character witnesses? Where's Chyna compelling story, her testimony? Where are the police reports? I showed you guys bombshell receipts from what, 2, 3 videos ago, where I showed that Kris Jenner gave testimony that the cops were there, her security, who were former LAPD officers, were on the scene after that fight. A CPS worker was allegedly called after that fight. But yet not a single one of those people came into open court under perjury of law to testify as to what they saw. Just Corey Gamble, who has a benefit to lie. If I'm Lenciani, I'm bringing up that in my opening argument. She got a witness list. She got a witness list. You can't just call people to the stand without getting a witness list. She knew exactly who was coming on the stand. And that is my cue to say to Chyna, I need you to run me through this day, play by play. Play by play. Run me through this day. I need to know the details. I need to know. And then I need you to tell me where you went. Whose house did you go to when you packed up Dream and King and you took the stuff from the nursery? Where did you go? Who did you visit? Did they see you shaking? Did they see you bruised? Did they see you battered? Where are the character witnesses? Where's the counter narrative? It's bizarre to me. And that's why I'm compelled to say I think her lawyer could have done a much better job in preparation for this case. The fact that Chyna's contract lawyer was Mosley, who was an executive producer of the E show, is not only a ridiculous conflict of interest, but only goes to speak to how much power Kris Jenner had over Blac Chyna, who recommended her counsel, who acted as a second mom only to betray her when she turned her back. I will never forget, and Lenciani should have been compelled to show this footage in court. When Rob and Chyna initially got engaged, how those sisters sat in that dressing room, looked each other in the face and said, not one of y'all better give them a congratulations. We will not stand for this relationship. They didn't like it from day one. Where was the footage, Lenciani? Why was the clip not played? Why wasn't it entered into discovery? It shows motive. It shows plot. It shows the wolf. The wolf right in the room saying, don't you dare congratulate them. There's a wolf among us. And I found the wolf. Blac Chyna never saw it coming. She was a sheep. Never saw it coming. She thought that she was being welcomed into this family. She had been a friend for years. She thought that she could trust her enemy. And I have to hold Chyna accountable because you should have never let your guard down, baby. When a person shows you who they are, you believe them. Believe them, baby. You let your guard down and you let Kim kill you. Figuratively, not literally. You let her kill you. They plotted to take everything you had the moment Kylie plotted to date your fiance, the moment she plotted to help you raise your child under the guise of babysitting, the moment they plotted to come into the courtroom and talk about how you stabbed Tyga with no evidence of said stabbing. It's like, at what point, and I understand Lenciani wanted to play above board because integrity will take you a lot further than lies. And I'm not faulting Lenciani for playing above board and with integrity, because honestly, that's the way to win in the long run. You don't want to put your law license on the line. But I just got to ask the questions. When Kylie couldn't even describe the length of the scar, she couldn't describe what arm it was on. How did the jury hear that and say, oh, yeah, it happened? You know why? Because it is easy to plant accusations of violence against Black women. It's easy. We're always seen as aggressive, off the hook, untamed, uncouth. We're always seen. So therefore, Lynn, get ahead of the narrative. out of my opening argument, I would have immediately said they will try to use every stereotype and trope about black women in this courtroom today. They will lead you to believe that she is violent, she is loud, she is dangerous, she uses her body to hypnotize men. They will lead you to believe all of these things about black women because it is easy for you guys to believe that. But I want you to be reminded that this family has benefited from every single stereotype you may have in your mind about black women, up to and including using your body to get ahead in life, using violence for views and clicks. Insert fight of Chloe and Kim kickboxing on TV. This family has used every stereotype that they will try to implant in your mind about my client. They represent day in and day out. But guess what the difference is, the jury? I have the proof. I can pull the receipts. I can pull the evidence. You know what they can pull about my client? Her throwing a phone out the window, her throwing flowers in a pool. But I can pull proof of hands being laid from one person to the other. So let's not talk about standing against violence when this family supports, encourages, and believes in it. And so does the E Network, who will try to come in here and tell you that they were toxic. This family has built a multi-million dollar, headed toward $1 billion corporation on toxicity. They have been tied to all kinds of things going on. They exploit violence at every turn, up to and including a robbery held at gunpoint in which Kim Kardashian exploited on her TV show. Now, it was hers to exploit, but she did. You can't be so scared of violence and so scared of drama when it doesn't benefit you, right? Only when it doesn't fit the narrative you want to shape. Linciani, in my opinion, failed Chyna. And I know a lot of people give her slack, and I know she had the cards stacked against her. Absolutely. I will concede that I do believe the cards were stacked against Linciani. I do believe the judge may be in pocket or in bed, figuratively speaking, with Michael Rhodes and his legal team. There's deep ties there, probably all throughout the legal system. But Linciani needed to anticipate the moves against her and plan accordingly. She needed to be ahead of the story at all times. She needed to make her case against defamation for Kim Kardashian defaming Chyna. That needed to start an opening argument. That needed to start day one. That needed to start long before you walked in that courtroom. Where was the preparation? I didn't see it on display. I didn't see it on display. I know they said she's no longer friend she was no longer friends with these people. Um but somebody got to know. It's no way there was a fight that was allegedly that explosive. Chyna left and went to somebody's house with them kids. Whose house did she go to? And I don't think it was Tokyo Tony. See, Tokyo Tony lost her credibility by speaking now the truth in her mind. You know, maybe it's Tokyo Tony's truth. I'm not going to tell her what to do. Tokyo Tony was selling tickets. She made this trial interesting. I mean, it was interesting, but she made it really interesting. So whose house did she go to? Who was the friend that she was texting saying she's trying to give Rob a year to get his life together? Who was she talking to? Where are her people? Where are her people? And I and that honestly, the fact that Black Chyna was standing in that courtroom alone and not one single person was able to come forward to defend her goes to show the power, the influence, and intimidation that this family has against the general public. That people are terrified. Even Kanye's scared. And Kanye is a mogul, a billionaire. And even he pleaded to the public, please, you guys, can y'all tell Kim to stop trying to antagonize me with this TikTok stuff? This man who is a billionaire, who knows media people, who knows Zuckerberg and all the famous people in the world, is pleading to us, the commoners, to tell his ex-wife to stop trying to antagonize him. If you guys don't understand the influence that these people have, it's like, are you living under a rock? Nobody will stand up against them. Black China did something that will probably ruin her career for the rest of her life. She will be outcast and shunned and left out to dry probably forever. It is hard to come back. But you know what Black China does have? She has the people on her side, the regular commoners, us in the trenches. And this is Black China's moment to release product, to release something, launch something. She should have had something in the pipeline. So when no matter how this went, she could have got the people behind her because you could control everything, but you can't control the heart of the people. Chyna won in the eye of public opinion and public perception. She won. The question is, how does she leverage it? How does she leverage it? How does she leverage it? How does she leverage this? That's what I'm looking to see next. And I'm also looking to see how does Linciani go forward with the appeal? How does she go for? How does she prepare for the appeal? On what grounds? What are those points she's going to stick to? And in my mind, introducing evidence, exhibits to the court that were not pre-approved, i.e., Black China's photos that he was not supposed to show, that they previously discussed. That needs to be in the appeal. Dropping Kim Kardashian from the defamation suit when she's the freaking wolf of it all, the ringleader, in my opinion. That needs to be in the appeal. The confusing jury instructions. Do you know the education? Yet you have to, because when you're doing voir dire, which is jury selection, you know the educational background of every juror on that stand. Were we dealing with a pool of jurors who were college educated, high school educated? What was their intellectual capacity and capabilities? Were they able to interpret these instructions? Did they get bogged down with information? And what's the easiest thing to do when you're bogged down with information? If I'm in the jury box, if I don't understand the question, what do you do on the SAT? You skip it. They don't understand, so they don't make a decision. They say, well, we don't know if we're right or wrong. We can't justify our decision. So therefore, we're going to say no because we can't stand on a yes. It's a strategy. It's a tactic. It's a tactic. I think she'll appeal. I think she will appeal. I think she has a good chance in the appellate court. I stand for Chyna. I'm willing to support her. If she releases something, I will definitely support her because it takes a lot of courage to go up against a conglomerate. It takes a lot of courage to put your face in the media like that, to humiliate yourself, potentially have a smear campaign launched against you, have the media say, oh, we knew she didn't have the case, or we knew she couldn't do it. We knew she was never going to win. To have all of those people look at you and kind of laugh at you. There's strength in fighting back. And honestly, when Black China said, all I want from this is for my kids, Dream and King, to look back and say, my mommy did all she could to stand up for us. That to me was powerful because even though she didn't win, she let her kids know that you don't have to lay down and take it. Even if the wolf comes to kill you and drag you into the lake off an iceberg, they just drag your body through. You do not have to die in shame. You can die with your honor. You can die with honor. And Black China, I don't care what anybody says, she died with honor, figuratively speaking, not literally. She died with honor. And I'll always stand for that. I'll always stand for that. I definitely think Lynn could have done better. 100%. She could have done better. I've been saying that since I started covering this case. I never felt that Linciani gave a compelling testimony to the jury. It was never compelling. Sure, she presented some facts. Sure, she hit some points, but she didn't compel. You needed to bring. You do you understand? You are asking the jury to award your client 140 plus million. We're not talking about a million. We're not talking about 100,000. We're not talking about 350,000. You are talking about 100+ million. Enough money to change the life of not only Chyna, but her kids, her kids' kids, and her kids' kids. We're talking about generational wealth on the line, not pennies. You want me to make a decision about generational wealth and you can't bring me to tears? I'm sorry. You needed to make them jurors cry. That was it. If you did not evoke emotion, I'm talking tears, you already lost. It's too much money on the line. How do you bring the jury to tears? How do you do it? You gotta prove Black Chyna was a sheep. She was a sheep and they are wolves and they ate her alive. They tore her apart limb by limb and they dragged her body for everybody to see. They made an example of her in the town. She needed to paint the story. The wolf killed the sheep. That's the story. And she failed. If you ask me, she failed. Make me believe that they're wolves. Make me believe that the brother, Robert Kardashian, was in on the plot from jump. Make me believe that that family plotted. They used his mental health issues against him. They knew that he was easily manipulated, that he was easily triggered, that he was easily moved by the art of suggestion. And I would have blown Rob Kardashian to smithereens. That guy, you want to get on this stand and cry? Oh, I'll make you cry. We're going to talk about your mental health struggles. We're going to talk about how you try to unalive yourself. We're going to talk about how weak you are, but not to make you, to trigger you, but to show how your family leveraged your vulnerabilities to turn you against your fiance. You got to make them all wolves. And if that means that Robert gets to be a little sheep, then so the hell be it. Make them all wolves. Make them all wolves. Oh, she definitely has a chance in appellate court, in my opinion. And this time, Linciani, baby, you better come through smoking. Better come through smoking. If you're looking for a writer, Linciani, if you happen to come by this Chyna, if you happen to come by anybody on the team, come by and y'all looking for a writer, I specialize in compelling stories. I do resumes for a living, if you guys didn't know that. So I'm a career consultant and career coaching, and I do a whole bunch of stuff, but I do resumes, and I am an amazing writer, and I can compel some pretty amazing things. So I'm not a lawyer, but if you're looking for somebody to give you some compelling testimony, I was a competitive debater in high school. I went all the way to championships at Harvard University, and I was in the finals. I am very good at debate, which is essentially law, right? You're defending yourself against the opponent. So I do well at that. I did it almost all of my childhood. So listen, I'm down to write the story, the wolf. But I'm not going to use that because I already told him about it. But we can come up with a different comparison, and we could paint the narrative. I'm down for it because you got to make this jury cry. There needs to be tears. There need to be people going home, can't sleep at night. They losing sleep over what they done did to this girl, and she ain't pull it off. They was able to successfully make it seem like Chyna was unhinged and psycho. But what drove her there? What drove her there? What drove her crazy? Who made her crazy? Who did it? Man, Linciani, I'm mad, but we'll see. I want justice for her too. Reach out to Chyna and ask her to watch your channel. I'm sure Chyna got a lot on her mind right now, and my channel ain't one of them. I'm just joking, you guys. I be talking. I don't be serious. But hey, look, if somebody want to cut me a little check to write an opening argument, you give me the points. Nah, I'll lock them suckers in for you. You can give it back to your paralegal for review and make sure it's legal eagle. But hey, look, I'm down. I'm down for the writing. Chyna can leverage. Chyna is probably devastated. I bet she is. They at the Met Gala. Isn't that just humiliating? Like, we not going to the verdict. We already know what's up. You know why? They knew they was gonna win. They knew they was gonna win. That's why they didn't settle with her over the weekend. And I think that's why the jury tried to give the perception. That's what I'm saying. I think that she got I think the jury tried to help her as much as they could. They tried to drag it out over the weekend, maybe hoping that they would come up with another settlement offer and that they would negotiate something off the books and the jury wouldn't have to make a decision. But I think Michael Rose was like, yo, we came this far. We ain't come this far to not come this far. So let's do it. Like whatever happens, happens. Because he probably already planned to appeal. He's like, listen, if they come back with any kind of verdict for her that's over X amount of dollars, oh, we definitely appealing because they already dropped Kim from the defamation suit. So we're appealing because she's the wolf. She's the leader of this pack. And he got her off. Man, this got better than Johnny Cochran. It's crazy to me. Like, it's so crazy. And how did Linciani let that happen? It's just like, oh my God, baby girl. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I would have had that jury so pissed off that they let Kim Kardashian off the hook that the jury would have been like, I don't care who said what, the who we awarding this girl something. I don't care if we give her $5 million. We are not leaving here smacking this girl in the face like that. I would have been outraged if I would like the jury needed to be outraged by that. They should have been like, what is happening here? But I don't know. I don't know who picked the jury. I heard it was all white, and given that at the district of the court is an all white population, people who come from money, people who have preconceived notions about black people and poor people. They probably don't know that Blac Chyna ain't poor. Like she ain't got it, but she also ain't homeless. They probably looking at her like, oh, she's trying to make a come up off the backs of these people. They not really getting the backstory. You know, they're not getting the backstory. They needed a jury that wanted to save somebody. Some people got savior complexes. Make sure your jury got savior complex. You needed at least 4 of them to want to save somebody. You know, 4 of them that secretly always wanted to be a hero to a black person. You needed 4 of them. You needed 4 of them. 4 saviors on your side, and they ain't do a good job with jury selection. China's net worth is 10 million. Yeah, she not broke, but that was a big life changing amount of money she lost out on. So our black women not getting fair. Tasha K. That Tasha K case is something completely different. That's a whole. I never even covered that. I probably should have, but I ain't. I like Tasha K, but that's a different case altogether. That's apples and oranges. That's apples and oranges. I think that was it. This is so dangerous. They are beloved above the law. Girl, Jersey girl. I've been saying that for the longest. Is Kim Kardashian above the law? She gonna meet her match though. Everybody has their day. Everybody has their day. You only could do people wrong for so long before you have your day in court where you go against the wrong person. But power is a hell of a drug. You know, some people say people are afraid of money or people are influenced by money, but honestly, what's more dangerous than money? Power. That's why 50 Cent made a whole hit show called Power. Power is more dangerous than money. Being able to shift a narrative and create a narrative and gaslight people and confuse people and make people believe things that they're not there and manipulate people, that is real power. Because if you can evoke emotion out of people and make them act a certain way, that's power. Hell with the money. What is money? Money might buy you a few bags. Money might buy you a few nice cars. Money might buy you a few tickets to a few nice events. But power is a lot more influential than money. Look at what Anna Delvey. She built an entire career for herself off nothing more than power and wits. You could do a lot of damage with power and wits. A lot of damage. And until it catch up with you, you can get by on a lot of people for a long time. You got to be careful with power. You got to be very careful with power. Yeah, their power is definitely the media. They are deep in the pockets, in my opinion, of some big media houses, and they deep in the pockets. And you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The Kardashians knew the outcome in advance, which is why they were so. I definitely believe they knew the outcome in advance, Holly. 100%. I think they knew the outcome in advance. Definitely. That's why they went to the Met Gala. They were like, we ain't got nothing to worry about. We about to go to the Met. We about to be looking snatched. We about to get our photos taken. Like they probably had a plant in the jury. I think the Kardashians and the outcome. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it's like, you know what? Even if win, lose, or draw, you still should have showed up to respect the court, respect the jury and their time. To me, if I was in the jury box and the people I'm voting on, like the Kardashians, don't show up to court. If I'm in a jury and I realize that they weren't there, I'm like, damn, we done spent 2 weeks in this jury box listening to y'all go back and forth about here, there, and everywhere. And now it's time to give the verdict. And you don't respect the court. You don't respect our time. You don't respect us enough to show up and just say, hey, look, this is going in my favor, but I'm going to sit here just like Chyna and I'm going to hear the verdict. And then boom, we going to leave calm, cool, and collect. It's a respect. It's a respect thing to the, even to the people. But that's they power and privilege, power, privilege, and money, power, privilege, and money. Yeah, the lawyer should file a motion to recall defective jury instruction. I definitely believe that they intentionally tried to confuse the jury. And the jury came back asking so many questions. They were so confused. And I definitely think that they need to pull that back. And I think they should go to appeal it. I don't think this is the end, but I don't know how Black China's paying for this. I'm pretty positive. I don't know for sure, but I would bet my money that Linciani took this case on retainer or on the promise of payment at settlement or at disbursement. And I don't know. I don't know how China is going to pay for this. Like some lawyers will have agreements where they're like, if we lose, you don't have to pay us anything. But the fact that this has been in court and in litigation for several years, I don't believe that's the case. I think if Chyna wants to appeal, she might have to really come up off some money. She might have to get rid of some things, move some things around, make some phone calls. Like maybe she'll get a TV show after this, and she'll be able to talk about her experience with the trial because it wasn't criminal. Like she not sworn to secrecy. She ain't signed no NDA. Like maybe she could talk about it on a new show and help make money pro bono. If they did this case pro bono, then she got some pro bono results because this is not a case I would have been trying to get pro bono. I don't need this on the free ski. I need you to do this for coin. I need you to make it. I need you to be just as passionate about this money as me. I don't want nobody, no lawyer who say I'm gonna do this on the free ski. I don't want none of that. I want you to want some money from this because that's gonna determine your effort. No, no, no. If you come to me talk about something I'm doing it pro bono, that's my immediate sign to run. I hope that's just MJ. I hope you joking. Do not tell me that Linciani took this case pro bono because that will just blow me to smithereens. Don't tell me that. I didn't research it, but if Black China let her lawyer do some junk pro bono, she is a fool. Yeah, she sold 3 cars. Yeah, I heard. It had to be a plant in the jury. No way you find them liable with no money. Yeah, I feel like it was. I'm not above believing that a few of them jurors slipped through the cracks. I don't know. I'm not above believing it. I don't have no proof, but I'm not above believing it. But anywho, that's me running my mouth on this trial. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping into the live. Please, please, please do me a favor. Like the live on the way out. It don't cost you nothing to like the live. And I thank you guys for showing up, for keeping me company, for keeping the conversation going. And if anything new comes out, you know your girl will be back giving you my opinion. As always, everything I say here is allegedly and just my opinion because I don't know these people. I don't know these people. But thank you so much for checking out. Actually, it's Amira. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great night.